Joo, tervetuloa takaisin Phoenix Wright Ace-Attorneyn läpipelusen. Mulla oli pakko käydä mä oon vetänyt tätä jo, tai yritin tätä jo puoli tuntia. Olin solmusta tämän kanssa. Mulla jäi semmonen juttu, että mä pressasin yhtä asiaa ennen kuin mä pressasin tiettyjä muita asioita. Mun olisi pitänyt vaan pressata kaikkea niin kuin, järjestyksessä. Mä skippasin pari ensimmäistä pressausta ja sitten mä palasin niihin ja sitten mä koskaan palannut siihen yhteen tärkeeseen asiaan, mikä johtaisi asiaa eteenpäin. Mä feilasin tän kahdessa, kun mä yritin keksiä jotain presentattavaa asiaa, mitä mulla ei ollut vielä, kun mä en tehnyt sitä pressausta oikeassa järjestyksessä. Tai siis, niin. Eli mä poistin aikaisemman videon ja teen tämän nyt uudestaan. Eli tänään on triaalipäivä. Luetaan kaikki uudestaan. How did the investigation go yesterday, Mr. Wright? Frankly, there are still a lot of grey areas. Or rather, the whole thing is one big grey area. Don't worry about me, no matter what the outcome. I'm ready to accept my fate. I believe in you, siis. Sä uskot siihen, että se on syyllinen? Mr. Wright, let me offer you a word of advice. Yes? The defense attorney should never believe in their client. The defendant is called to trial because they are suspected of wrongdoing. Never forget that. This guy, you remind me a lot of Mia. But there's one decisive difference between you and her. And that is, you are not a defense attorney. I believe it's almost time for the trial. Good luck, Mr. Wright. Tosiaan, tähän menee ehkä 10 minuuttia. Se video oli jo 45 minuuttinen siinä kohtaa, kun katsoin, että mitä tässä pitää tehdä. My first trial without the Fae helping me. No one's going to bail me out this time. I'll be alone in there, so I have to discover the truth all by myself. Let's do it, Mr. Wright. I'll be with you the whole way. Courtroom number 9. Kuinka monta vuotta tässä täällä oikein on? Court is now in session for the trial of Miss Lana Sky. The defense is ready, Your Honor. The prosecution has been ready for a while, Your Honor. Ashworth. It's been 2 months, but I haven't been in the courtroom since his trial. I hope that personal feelings will not be a part of the proceedings today, Mr. Wright. I will choose the path I think is right, regardless of what those around me might say. The judgment to be made here is in our hands, not those anyone else. Not those of anyone else. Very well, Miss Edgeworth. Your opening statement, please. Chief Prosecutor Lana Sky has committed an unpardonable crime. Not only this, but she was rash enough to commit it in the prosecutor's office lot. Wow, he's much more forceful in person. I suddenly feel like confessing to everything. However, she will now pay for her rashness in her life. There was a witness to her crime. A professional witness. Well then, call your first witness, Mr. Edgeworth. The prosecution calls its first witness, Miss Angel Star, to the stand. The cough-up queen. Haven't I seen you somewhere? You ordered the caviar lunch, right? Oh, caviar. I've never eaten caviar before. The judge is really wolfing it down. And for you, I have yes, Paul. Thanks. Will the witness state her name and profession? And you, sir? Did you order the fingerprint lunchbox? This is too early for lunch. Your name and profession, please. Well, Joanna, how does it taste? So this is why everyone raves about caviar. It's so tasty, it hurts. I always thought caviar would taste like pickled tapioca. What the heck does pickled tapioca taste like? Name, profession, now. Me, the name is Angel Star. Don't go forgetting it. I find myself running Lunchland these days. Is that what you wanted me to say, Mr. Edgeworth? Very well, witness. Please describe the incident to us. The prosecution will wait. I'm not finished eating. Hurry it up. Very well, Mr. Edgeworth. As you know, we usually call on the police to provide a description of the crime. Joanna, as Mr. Edgeworth has said to the court, I am a professional. What exactly does that mean? Until 2 years ago, Miss Angel Star was a special investigator with the police. She was a first-rate homicide detective. What? Miss Star was a detective? I know you. I know who you are. Go for Queen Angel Star, Joanna. Long time no see. Well, very well. You may continue with the description, Miss Star. Just who is this lady? If I might have to cause attention over here. The parking lot at the prosecutor's office is divided into 2 blocks. A block is for the prosecutor's office personnel. B block is for visitors and clients. The chain divider separates the 2 blocks. I suppose that's to keep visitors from taking up prosecutor's spaces, yes? The crime took place by car in the back of A block in the car's trunk. The killer stabbed the victim with the knife and went to drive the body out. Unfortunately for her, there was a witness and an arrest was made on the spot. And who was this valiant witness? Why, it was me, Joanna. Parking lot floor plans added to the courtroom. Court record. The parking lot with Edgeworth's car. Witness, did you see the very moment of the crime? Of course, Joanna. Immediately after that, I apprehended the chief prosecutor. It seems rather cut and dried, doesn't it? Well, Mr. Wright, I can't agree on principle, Joanna. It seems that some poor losers are unwilling to accept the truth, Joanna. Shall I proceed to crush that little hope they have remaining? If you can, then give them your worst, Miss Star. Wait, are they talking about me? Witness's account. Somehow I always knew a day like this would come. I was on my way to deliver a lunchbox to my boyfriend. When I sensed something, perhaps it was my finely honed detective intuition at work. Through the wire fence, I saw the chief prosecutor standing next to a garage car. The chief prosecutor was holding a knife in her right hand. Then she thrust the pointed tip of the knife into Detective Goodman's chest. Bringing a lunchbox to your boyfriend. How touching. As you can see, there is no room for doubt. The key point of your testimony seems to be nothing other than the point of the knife which you saw being stabbed into Detective Goodman. So, how does it feel to be utterly crushed? I'm still thinking about that. It's mere flesh wound, Mr. Wright. Very well, Mr. Wright. You may cross-examine the witness. No niin, tosiaan. Mä aloitin. Olisi pitänyt aloittaa ihan suoraan vaan pressaamalla kaikkea. Mä skippasin tämän, mutta tämä on tärkeä pressata. Somehow I always knew a day like this would come. How did you know? I respected prosecutors' basic awareness of crime. Yet their methods are ugly and twisted. Twisted methods will always lead to tragedy. the lunch lady's uniform. Tämä mietin sulle, että onko se uninformed vai uniformed? Taitaa olla uniformed opinion is duly noted. Given that they are used to erasing or inconvenient evidence at their whim. Killing of a detective that knew too much is merely an extension of that. Mister, do you have something personal against prosecutors? I felt that I had found my dream job when I became an investigator, and if I hadn't been laid off by those prosecutors over there, I'd still be one. Laid off? She was fired. To me, prosecutors are nothing more than worms. That said, I'm a pro, as you know. My testimony is unbiased and flawless. Very well, you may continue, Miss Starr. I was on my way to deliver a lunchbox to my boyfriend. His boyfriend? He's the detective? Not that boyfriend. The security guard. That boyfriend? You have several? Yes, this boyfriend, that boyfriend, and the other boyfriend. Get to join? Yet another boyfriend position is still open for applicants. I'll stick with the largest thanks. Note to self, just to think before replying. The security guard room is in the lot in A block. It's up on the second level, so you can see everything up from there. That would be the room with the security sign. Se näkyy vähän huonosti. Mä mietin, että onko tää yli alun perin ollut 4:3, jota on leikattu. Että on nyt mikä 9:10, en minä tiedä. Että tää olisi näkynyt ennen paremmin. Incidentally, did you bring your lunchboxes by car? Since I'm a visitor now, I parked in B block. So she was in B block when she witnessed the crime. When I sensed something, perhaps it was my funny honed detectives intuition at work. Tätä mä pressasin ensimmäisellä kerralla, ja mä luin ohjeistusta, että tätä ei tarvitse pressata, mutta pressaan nyt kaikkea. Olen oppinut läksynyt. Tästä lähtien pressaan kaikkea järjestyksessä. Ja jos ei auta, niin pressaan kaikkea uudessa järjestyksessä. Sitten katsotaan, jos joku muuttuu. Ei sitä koskaan tiedä, kun viimeisessä pitää pressata ja sitten pitää pressata vielä ensimmäisessä, että ensimmäinen muuttuu. You sensed something? So you're saying you had a premonition of the murder? It felt like, how would you say? Oh yes. It was like the feeling you get when you view a pumpkin jug full of seeds. I have no idea what that means. Speaking of a detective's intuition, wasn't the victim Mr. Bruce Goodman also a detective? Yes, well, he was like a young cheese. Young cheese? A pale white cheese, not yet dingy with experience on the street. A greenhorn. Then I must be hard yellowed and sharp as a tack. Yeah, with the odor of an old cheese to match. In any case, there in the lot, I felt something stirring in the back of my mind. Through the wire fence, I saw the chief prosecutor standing next to a garage car. Tää oli sen toinen, mitä mä pressasin, ja tää ei johtunut mua mihinkään. Nyt tämän pitäisi johtaa eteenpäin, kun mä oon pressannut noita kahta aikaisempaa. By garage car you mean Mr. Edgeworth's car, yes. But Mr. Edgeworth, incidentally, the knife with which the victim was stabbed was also Mr. Edgeworth's, wasn't it? Indeed it was. What an odd case this is. And the person you saw, it was the defendant. I saw her from no further than 30 feet away. I'm certain it was her. If she's still telling the truth, we are doomed. Let's just do what we can. Even if we don't have any proof, we can always nitpick. Okei, tää muuttuu. Se aikaisemmin sanotaan, että se ei riitä. Meiltä vastaan Edgeworth, että meidän pitää keksiä jotain parempaa kuin vaan nitpikkaus. Witness, in your testimony, you clearly stated the following. Prosecutors are nothing more than worms. Ergo, you are a biased witness. You might want to keep those silly opinions to yourself in the future, rookie. Huh? Rookie? Unless you are willing to risk the consequences of doubting me. I'll fry you like a fritter, crispier on the outside, chew on the inside. That was inspiring. I believe I've heard that the tagline elsewhere. You could cry plagiarism. I may be relegated to the lowly post of lunch lady, but my instincts are honed. A photograph? You took this. Ja tämä oli mikä multa puuttu. The moment I witnessed the crime, my reflexes took over and snap, I took a picture. In fact, one of my lunchboxes is rigged with a camera. I suppose that's more exciting than just hanging it around your neck. Witness, why am I only seeing this photograph just now? You think I'd show it to you? Prosecutor, think again. My boyfriend works in the photography division of criminal affairs. Well, this is most certainly the defendant. The moment of the crime was photographed by Angel Star. Oh, this is unmistakably Lana Sky. So what was the defendant doing at the time? The chief prosecutor was holding a knife in her right hand. Tell me more about this knife that the suspect was carrying. Well, I'd say the blade was about 4 inches long. Ja tosiaan mainitakoon että mä yritin keksiä kaikkea. Ihan kaikkea. Niinku, graspasin ihan älyttömästi. Niinku, ei mikään toiminut tietenkään, kun ei mulla ollut sitä tätä, mikä oli tarpeellinen, mutta tyyli, että niin mä mietin, että täällä pystyisikö mä jotenkin niitä paikkaamaan, että tässä sanotaan, että niinku, tää on 4,5 tuumainen. Ei ole 4 tuumainen, mutta niinku, se on hyvin nitpikkasta, mutta en mä pystynyt sitä mitenkään todistamaan. Yritin kaikkeni. Well, I'd say the blade was about 4 inches long. It's just right, Mr. Edgeworth. It is your knife after all. Yes, that's about right. Prosecutors are by nature well versed in the location of the man's vital organs. So it was easier than boiling an egg for my egg salad surprise set. You can testify as to her ability to kill an egg, I mean per person. Perhaps a chicken salad set would have been a better metaphor. So the defendant was holding a knife, but then she thrust the point of the knife in Detective Goodman's chest. Ja tosiaan Lana väitti, että se iski mahaan, mutta siinä autossa ja tämän testimonissa se sanoo rintaan. Ja nämä pitää kaikki paikkaistuttaa, että yksi isku ja kaikki tämmöiset. Kuten täällä luki, että one knife wound. Ei mitään contradictionia, minä koitin pähkäillä. Hetkinen, mulla oli äsken jotain mielessä. Mitä mä sanoin ekalla kerralla, mutta nyt mä unohdin se. Tell us court why you didn't try to stop this crime. You did see her raise the knife to strike, no? The defense has a point. Unfortunately, by the time I realized what was going on, it was already too late. Too late? Yes, the next moment, the chief prosecutor brought down the murder weapon. I see. It's only a flesh wound, Mr. Wright. We can make it. You said that before. Anything else? Scientifically speaking, Miss Starr's testimony is flawless. Sounds pretty fatal to me. What do we do? Is my sister guilty? Let's just keep our heads cool and press the witness a bit, shall we? For some reason, having her panicking next to me makes me calm. Don't smile like that. Se otti sitä, että mä pressaisin sitä vielä. Tosiaan mun tarvii enää pressata sitä. Nyt pitää presentata. Mulla oli semmonenkin asia mielessä, että se sanoi, että se näki sen prosekuutorin, se ei nähnyt sitä uhria. Pitäisi tässä sanoa väittää jotain, mutta no joo, ei puhuta enempää siitä, että mä yritin tätä pähkällä ilman. Mikä mun piti presentata. Täällä näkyy, että sillä ei ole puukkoa kädessä. And you witnessed this. You saw Miss Guy stab the victim with a knife. As I've already said, yes. I spent on my fine salmon spear lunch. I'm sure that is a fine lunch. But isn't that odd? Look at this photograph. This is the photograph you took at the very moment of the crime, is it not? Then why is Miss Guy not holding a knife? Mr. Edgeworth, your thoughts? Objection. Miksei tullut sitä hienoa objectionia? That had to be the weakest objection ever, Edgeworth. Okay. Yet it was still stronger than you could ever... Yet it was still stronger than your ever feeble mind, Mr. Wright. What do you mean, Mr. Edgeworth? This photograph was not taken at the moment before the stabbing. This was taken at the moment after the stabbing. And how can you tell that? Blood splatter. Huh? See the dark crimson stains of the Chief Prosecutor's coat? But it's black and white photograph. Yes, it's hard to tell, but this could be blood. Well, Mr. Wright, I see no problem here. No problem, except you. Mr. Wright, are you going to just sit there and take that kind of abuse? You got a better idea. Objection. Wait, that contradicts what the witness said in her testimony. Namely, that she took the picture the moment she witnessed the crime. Well, it seems I was slightly unclear. My apologies. That's it. If you run out of lunch, you order seconds. Problem solved. If you don't like it, try ordering the jumbo-sized lunch from the get-go. Good advice. I'm sure I understood it, but good advice. I didn't have time to stop her. Prosecutor Sky was calculating like a robot. She killed without pain or remorse. It was a premeditated murder. Premeditated? How do you know? Look at the Chief Prosecutor's hands in that photograph. Well, are those gloves? Surgical gloves made of the thin wrapper most likely. How would she have those on? Tässä tosiaan tässä puhuessa sanotaan, että no fringe. If it was not premeditated, she would not be wearing those gloves. Why? Those gloves do seem tell a tale of premeditation. Premeditated murder, a serious offense. Witness, add this to your testimony. The murder was planned. The rubber gloves prove it. Voinko mä checkata, että se vaan näyttää tämän kuvan, en pysy kääntämässä tai mitään. Tää on musta tarkistaa tommonen. What if she was just in the habit of wearing gloves, like driving gloves? The gloves were admitted as evidence when the defendant was arrested. They were rubber gloves of the kind used for autopsies. In other words, when the chief prosecutor came to the crime scene, she came to do murder, is the only possible conclusion one can make. Everything was planned. It was a premeditated crime. Ah, impressive. I'm sorry they took you off the force, Miss Star. This is bad. She's got them thinking this was all planned. If she can prove this claim, the trial's already over. I've got to think of a way to show that this wasn't premeditated. It's only a flesh wound, Miss Wright. We can make it. You said that before. Anything else? Scientifically speaking, Townsend technically asking. Miss Star's testimony is flawless. Sounds pretty fatal to me. What do we do? This is it. Is my sister guilty? Let's just keep our heads cool and press the witness a bit, shall we? For some reason, blah blah blah. Okei, mä oon taas jumissa. Mä oon pressannut kaikkea. Mä satun tietämään, että kun mä luin se kaidesta yhden asian, mitä en spoilaa. Mut miten mä tuon sen ilmi? Mä en keksi mitään muutakaan. Tämä vaan todistaa se, mitä se väittää, että tässä ei ollut printtejä. No, koetaan presentata tätä. En tiedä miten tää liittyy millään tavalla mihinkään, mutta en keksi muutakaan. Ei. Ei hemmetti. Eikös mä tehnyt tämän jo? Joo, tein. Mun pitää tähän keksiä nyt jotain presentattavaa. Ei se oo tämäkään, mutta koitetaan. Ei, kyllä se on se. Witness, do you know what this is? Are you trying to test me? I sell box lunches for a living, you know. That's a knife. The knife. The knife that was in Mr. Edgeworth's trunk. Indeed, it is my knife. It was with this case the bloody murder weapon, a red car, all belonging to the prosecutor. The defendant is in the chief prosecutor. I mean, are prosecutors bad people? Yes, they are. The defense has a request. We ask that the witness provide an accurate testimony. What's that, rookie? In your testimony, you stated that Lana Skye planned this murder. And... Aivan! Jos se väittää, että se on suunnitellut sen murhan, niin miksi se ottaisi jonkun randomin veitsen toisen autosta? And that's why she was wearing those special gloves. Still seems like a natural conclusion to me. The gloves indicate planning. However, why would she not also prepare the most important thing, the murder weapon? Oh, this knife just happened to be in the trunk of that car. Ladies and gentlemen, if you are going to plan a murder, you don't forget the weapon. Order, order, order! Great, now the tide is turning in our favor. Great show, Mr. Wright. My sister's as good as free. Right. I believe the next lunch you'll be eating is humble pie. What? Now you weren't deluding yourself into thinking that the tide has turned. Not over such a trifling detail, but this shoots a hole in the whole premeditated theory. Bah, the prosecution could care less if it was premeditated or not. The only one who seems to care is that lunch lady over there. The defendant, lunch guy, murdered a detective with a knife. That is the only thing the prosecution need to prove, nothing else. Very good, Mr. Prosecutor. I suppose you think you are clever now. But you know as well as I do that she planned on killing him. It was planned. If it wasn't, why would she have been wearing... I believe I'd like to hear your testimony again. Witness, please tell us only what you saw, not what you thought. How dare you? My powers of deduction are not to be underestimated. Really now. Angel's deduction. Nice guy intended to murder Detective Goodman. That's why she called the victim all the way to the prosecutor's office. I'm sure the chief prosecutor had a grudge against the victim. Nothing else could drive that human machine to plunge the knife in again and again. Vai että uudestaan ja uudestaan. Löysin saman tien ristiriidan tästä. The victim was summoned from the police department to the prosecutor's office. It does sound like a lot like premeditation, doesn't it? So if I order the pizza, does that mean I'm planning to kill the delivery boy? In any case, the defense may now cross-examine the witness. No, pressataan silti kaikkea. Nice guy intends to murder Detective Goodman. Olen oppinut läksyni. Minä pressaan nykyään ihan kaiken. You said that, but you haven't told us how you know. That's what I'm about to tell you, Ricky. I believe what she just said was a mere prelude to the story she is about to tell. Try not to interrupt her again, Rookie. Never interrupt the storyteller. It's like pulling a bun out of the oven half-baked. Something's half-baked or here alright, and it's you. Try not to consist to defend the witness. They are not very quick on their feet. Aha. Now, why did you believe the suspect had intentions to murder the victim? The actions speak for themselves. That's why she called the victim all the way to the prosecutor's office. You have no proof that Mrs. Guy called him there. You have no proof that she didn't. Mr. Edgeworth thoughts. There is no record of a call made to the defendant, Miss Lanskai's phone. She must have written him a letter. Come on, you could have tried public phone first at least. In any case, the victim came to the prosecutor's office where he was murdered. Niin se ei tapahtunut siellä What? I'm sure he had a reason to be there. Witness, why do you think it was the suspect who summoned the victim that day? I'm sure the chief prosecutor had a crush against the victim. What kind of grudge? Well, I wouldn't know that. Of course you don't. That's because you didn't have a grudge. A rookie. I have a lunchbox here. Now, what's inside? How am I supposed to know? See, we all agree there is a lunchbox here, but we don't know what's inside. A person's life is like a lunchbox with pretzels. Don't you agree? I get it. That's why my lunch was so salty. This judge isn't very good with metaphors. The suspect had a crush against the detective Goodman. Will you tell us your basis for thinking this? It's simple. Nothing else could drive that human machine to plunge the knife in again and again. Human machine? That's contradiction. Please. Can't you find fault with something of substance, Mr. Wright? Not self. Mr. Edgeworth's size smell like citrus fruit. You say again and again. How many times did she stab him exactly? We often say chop into 1,000 pieces, but we don't actually mean 1,000 pieces. What difference does it make if the deed is done? How come she's getting mad at me? Let's just say she stabbed him several times and leave it at that. Leave it at that. This is a murder case, people. It's right, you should speak up if you have an objection, you know. Miss Starr has turned out to be as short-tempered as she looked when we met her. Challenging her abilities as a detective really set her off. The short brick burns out the fastest. It's a scientific fact. I wonder, wouldn't it depend on the size of the candle? I mean, and more wax and even a really short wick will burn longer. Obviously, more scientific testing is required. Tämä tässä. Ja nyt presentoin tämä. Se iskettiin vain kerran. You say she stabbed him again and again, but you couldn't have witnessed that. Are you testing me? Then I'll test you. With my moss surprise. I'm afraid the moss is growing under our feet as we wait, Miss Starr. What do you mean? I shouldn't have to explain this. But take a look. The autopsy report states that death was due to a loss of blood from one stab wound. Aha, you're right. Good show, Mr. Edgeworth. Sorry, mun presentos. What a hunk. He's my hero, really. What about my objection? No one noticed. Well, witness. You got the crime scene set, right? Oh, thanks. I always believed that no one could ever mistake ketchup for blood. But now I realize that such mistakes are possible. So, are you saying you mistook something for blood? When she lifted her knife, I thought I saw blood at her breast. Splattered blood from her victim. That's why I thought she must have stabbed him at least twice. Then tell us what you saw that you thought was blood. Testify. Mä menen käymään pakilla. Jatketaan. Her red muffler looked like blood to me. That's how ghastly the whole scene was. Her red muffler? Yes, like a scarf. The chief prosecutor always wears one around her neck. So she can be easily hanged at the moment's notice, I suppose. She's right. Miss Guy was wearing a red scarf, wasn't she? But wait. Isn't it odd that you mistook that for splattered blood? Well, people often mistake my bird for a beep. Just with a beep. That's why this place feels so much like kindergarten sometimes. Ei mitään, mikään beep. Actually, I do think I saw some traces of blood on her chest. However, the autopsy report is clear on this matter. There was only one knife wound. Apparently, Miss Starr isn't entirely sure of her own testimony. Miss Wright, this is our chance. Chance for what, I wonder? Miss Starr has turned out to be as short-tempered as she looked when we met her. Challenging her ability to test more than a win. Olisiko mulla tässä näyttää että sillä ei ollut sitä sen muffleria, mikä ikinä se onkaan. Mr. I demand an explanation. The witness is clearly not sorted for detective work. What? The suspect was not wearing a scarf or muffler of any kind when she stabbed the victim. And you have proved it yourself with this photograph. Elizabeth vie kaiken mun kunnia. But that can't be. Only professional lunch lady could be so utterly clueless. Congratulations, perhaps you have finally found your true calling in life. Harsh words, but good. In the end, Mr. Elizabeth prevails. What was my objection? Chopped liver? But it was there, a scarf. No, not that, but something red, really. Well now, where were we? The witness has given us an entertaining interlude, but back to business. What? Very well, witness, continue your testimony. You saw the crime and apprehended the suspect. Tell us about that. Very well. I do remember some things accurately, at least. Ultimately, we cannot shake the most important part of her testimony. The most important part? Sä kuulet mun ajatukset. The part where your sister stabs the victim. This next testimony might just be the moment of truth. Apprehending the suspect. After the murder, the suspect attempted to run behind the partition off to her side. I quickly caught her, explained her rights to her, and arrested her on the spot. Ah yes, when I arrested her, she mentioned the muffler. That's what had me confused in my earlier testimony. The chief prosecutor made the escape, but against Angel Star, resistance is futile. You are quite determined about this scarf, aren't you? I strike like a snake and bite like a cobra. That's me, Angel Star. That wasn't a very good metaphor. First of all, a cobra is kind of a snake. Don't bother me with the details, unless you want to get bitten. No thanks. Note to self, Mr. Wright is weak against poisonous snake bites. Se on venomous. Poisonous on, jos sä puret jotakin ja se myrkyttää sut. Venomous on, jos joku puree sua ja se myrkyttää sut. The chief prosecutor tried to resist, but her efforts were in vain. She knocked my hands aside, kicked over an oil drum. An oil drum? Hard to imagine. Oh, she's beautiful, but deadly. A predator, this one. A leopard woman. Roar. Very well, Mrs. Wright. Your cross-examination, if you will. After the murder, the suspect attempted to run behind the partition off to her side. So where is this partition on the floor plans? So she means this wall next to the car. That's right. There was a wall there, about 6 feet high. She was obviously trying to hide herself. quite a natural thing for a criminal to do. And what did you do then? I quickly caught her, explained her rights to her, and arrested her on the spot. You say quickly, were you close to the suspect? As I just said, I was only 30 feet away from her the whole time. Maybe I should press her for more details. Press her. I like to see this on the floor plans, just to be safe. The lunchland car was... She was a visitor, thus she was parked in B block. So you witnessed the murder from here? That would make it about 30 feet from the car, yes. Is that correct, Miss Starr? Yes, that's right. But there was a chain link fence in front of you. I went over it, of course. Amazing, the cover queen lunch lady athlete indeed. It would have taken her a little time to climb over the fence, so she couldn't have gotten to my sister that fast. Yeah, the fence was about 9 feet high too. So how did Mrs. Sky not get away? Ah yes, when I arrested her, she mentioned her muffler. She mentioned the muffler? What exactly did she say? If I remembered exactly, I would have told you in my testimony. Cheeky. Anyway, all I heard her say was the word muffler. Just that one word. So, what you heard wasn't the suspect talking to you, but to someone else? Yes, the chief prosecutor was talking to her phone. Her phone? She can't mean... Ask further. By phone, do you mean this cell phone discovered at the crime scene? Yes, ultimately. Ultimately? My memory. It's like a salmon, heading upstream, you see. No, the court doesn't see, Miss Starr. The chief prosecutor first attempted to use the phone hanging on the wall. On the wall? That's right. Near the car, there was an emergency phone on the wall. Apparently it was out of order. And so she used her cell phone. Indeed, the emergency phone was out of order today. Good witnessing. Good witnessing? Whatever happened? Good testifying. You should of course add this to your testimony. Things I do to please this rookie defense attorney. Satun tietämään, että tosiaan tämä tapahtui 18 minuuttia sen murhan jälkeen. Se ei sotunut kenellekään siihen aikaan. I saw it all. How she tried the phone on the wall, but had to use her cell instead. Do you think you could restate your testimony for the court? Aha, I was going to ask the same thing. I'll only say this one time, so listen close, rookies. The chief prosecutor stabbed the victim and ran behind the partition. Then she picked up the emergency phone on the wall, but it was out of order. So she pulled her own cell phone out of her pocket. Miksi se juoksisi ensimmäisenä tonne hätäpuhelimelle eikä ottaisi omaa kännykkäänsä? And during that time, you climbed over the chain link fence. Then, when I boldly grabbed her arm, the chief prosecutor hung up her phone. And you saw her doing this? What is this, Mr. Wright? The chief prosecutor made it to escape, but against Angel Star, resistance is futile. Tosiaan, pressataan ennen kaikkea, ennen kuin pressataan mitään. She made it to escape. Can you be more specific? She brushed aside my hand and ran. It was a terrible sight to see, like a dollop of lard on a pate of foie gras. Huh? She even kicked over an oil drum at me. An oil drum? There was an oil drum lying on the side on the scene of the crime. But it's strange. What's that? If she wanted to escape, why didn't she run the other way? The parking lot entrance. That's right. It doesn't make any sense that she would run from behind the partition to the oil drums. Excellent. More mysteries. I wish we could solve a few before finding more, though. So Miss Guy tried to run. I'm sorry my sister is so suspicious, Mr. Wright. Not as sorry as I am. But she didn't do it. You have to believe me. After the murder, the suspect attempted to run behind the partition on... okei, tää alkaa nyt alusta. No, koitan näyttää tätä. Nope. Shit. No nyt en taas kyllä keksi. No, mä saan tehdä yhden väärän liikkeen. Tähän saattaa mennä taas alusta. Tosin tähän videolle, että tähän nyt menee ensimmäisen kerran sitten. No, pressataan vielä uudestaan. Oliko tässä mitään uutta? Kuten mä aikaisemmin ajattelin, että pressaan kaikkea uudestaan. Jos viimeisessä tulee jotain tärkeää ja sitten ensimmäisessä pitää pressata sen jälkeen. Ei sitä tiedä. Sano sen uudestaan. Tässä nyt koittaa keksiä tähän jotain. No, jos mä feilan tämän, niin mä katson uudestaan, mitä mun pitää tehdä. Miten sä voisit nähdä se, jos oli siellä nurkan takana? Mister, I have to conclude that you have personal grudge against Miss Lansky. The witness is a former detective. The testimony is unmarred by personal bias. Well, who would have thought you would be my knight in shining armor, prosecutor? You who, together with the chief prosecutor, kicked me out 2 years ago. Well, Mr. Starr, Miss Starr, this is a fatal contradiction with your testimony. How do you explain this? I don't know what you are talking about. Mess with me, and I'll make you cough it all up. Let's look at the floor plans. You said you witnessed the crime from this point. Or if that's true, you couldn't possibly have seen Miss Guy making that phone call. I believe you see what I'm getting at. That emergency phone was on the backside of this partition. If indeed you were in B block, you couldn't have seen it. War! Order, what is the meaning of this? Simply, Anna. She's not coughing up lunch, she's coughing up lies. That's quite a claim, Miss Wright. Perhaps you will allow me a question. That's exactly what lie this witness has told the court. Here's where the counter-attack begins. I can't afford to get this wrong. Kirjaimellisesti en, koska mulla on enää viimeinen yritys. Jos mä saan tämän väärin, niin se on game over. The witness lied about. Kumpi? No, ihan ensimmäisenä mulla oli mielessä, että se valehtelee siitä, mitä se näki. Koska ei se voi sanoa että mä väittäisin kyllä, että se ties. Se tietää, että se meni soittamaan, eikä olettanut vaan. Joten sen tosi mitä sillä on pointtia, että missä se oli oikeastaan. No, mennään tällä. Mennään loogisella vaihtoehdolla. Where she saw it. Miss Guy tried to use the emergency phone, but it was out of order. What is significant about this fact? Nothing. Therefore, it would be pointless for Miss Starr to lie about it. Pointless to lie, I see. But say the witness did actually see Miss Guy using the emergency phone. It would mean Miss Starr witnessed the crime from a different location. A different location? Oh, that's a pointless lie if I ever heard one. Before you call my lie pointless, at least let me tell it. Let me ask a question to our clever wordsmith, Miss Wright. Just where was the witness when she saw the crime? Well, the testimony we have heard until now points in one direction. The place from where Miss Starr witnessed the crime was. No, mulla on ollut ihan ensimmäisenä mielessä tämä täällä. Tosi mä alan epäilemään, että se oli itse se murhaaja, mutta ei se olisi ollut tossa, mutta se edelleenkään näki sitä. Loogisin paikka on tämä security room. This is the only place where she could have been. The security guard room. Indeed, the security room in the underground parking lot is well positioned. It's built on the second floor, so you can see the entire lot. She would have been able to see the emergency phone from there. But why there? There are many other places where she could have seen the phone. Not in this case, Your Honor. The witness, not being part of the prosecutor's office, couldn't park in A block. The only place where she could have seen the crime at the back of the partition is here. I remember in your testimony you said you brought the lunch to your boyfriend in the security guard room, yes? Well, mister, how many years have I been getting the better of men to think that the tables could be turned? Today, a man has got the better of Angel Star. Order, witness. What have you done? You used to be detective. You should know better. I'm not turning back. The guilty will be punished. And I'll do what I must to make sure justice prevails. The guilty? Is she talking about Miss Guy? Mr. Wright? Doesn't this strike you as odd? Why did Miss Star lie? Doesn't make sense. Huh? She could have just said she saw the crime from the security guard station. Yep. It wouldn't change anything. Exactly. This photograph tells all. Aivan. Miksi sillä on kuva täältä puolta, jos se oli siellä carroomissa? This photograph tells all. It was the defendant who stabbed the victim. The truth still stands. It still stands? I disagree, Mr. Edgeworth. But what? If a witness is found to be lying, you are guilty of perjury. She knows this. She wouldn't risk that without a good reason. So, tell us what her reason was, Mr. Wright. Huh? Me? Who else? Mr. Wright, let's review what we know. Mr. Witness, this crime from the security guard station. But she lied and said she saw it from B block. It must make a vital difference. But what? What would change? Angle of view to the crime. No, kyllä se on myös se distance to the crime, mutta sillä on teidän merkitystä. Difference in lighting. Why? The angle at which she saw the crime occur would change. The angle? What do you mean? Well, the security guard station is on the second floor, and she would have sort of a more 3D view of the crime. And this is important. Why? Älä viitti. Perhaps you'd like to reconsider, Mr. Wright. Mä tiedän, että se kuva on otettu väärästä paikasta. Miksi et sä sanonut siitä? Koko juttu uusiksi. Jatketaan tässä kohtaa sitten, kun pääsen tänne takaisin. Tossa mä muistan kaikki nää, mitä tässä pitää laittaa. Alright, we done back. Tosiaan, distance is a crime. Se ei ollut 30 jalan päästä. Se oli yläkärryssä, se olisi voinut edes mennä sen luokse. It changes the distance between her and the scene of the crime. My condolences, Mr. Wright, but one look at the floor plans and it's quite clear. The distance between the scene of the crime and the feed gas station is 30 feet. Oof. But se on kakkoskerroksessa, you know. I don't see how that would change what she could see. What she saw is not in question here. What matters is the time it would take her to reach the scene of the crime. Huh? Miss Starr, you witnessed the crime from the security gas station. Now, how long did it take you to go from there to the scene of the crime where you arrested Miss Sky? Well, witness, you... Yes? You ordered squid wheels, right? The quality of my lunch has gone from low to inedible. I was bringing peanut butter and jelly lunch with fresh boysenberry jam to my boyfriend. Boysenberry for the boyfriend. He wasn't in the station, so I waited. I witnessed the crime from the glass wall station. And before I knew what I was doing, I found myself running towards the scene. But the door was locked. I couldn't open it. That's why I had to go through the visitors park in B block. That's quite a detour. It probably took me at least 5 minutes to get to the scene of the crime. 5 minutes. This changes things considerably. But it was that woman over there in the defendant's chair who stabbed him. I know it. I have photographic evidence. I swear it on my finest plastic spork. You have a point, and the spork is a wonderful invention. Would you like another caviar lunch? Absolutely. Uh-oh. Mr. Wright, you have to do something. Do you have any evidence to stop this? Totta kai. Ei mulla mitään hajoa kyllä, mutta totta kai. 5 minutes between the witnessing of the murder and the arrest. Think about it. You could make pasta in that amount of time, if you like it al dente. I've got the lunchboxes that tie pasta into nuts, rookie. A 5-minute blank isn't that strange. A 5 minutes blank isn't that strange? Strange? If you were a criminal, what would you do with 5 minutes, Joanna? Well, I guess I'd flee the scene. Hey, don't get the wrong idea. I didn't kill anyone. But you have the instinct of a killer. You would run, but this time was different. Miss Guy dawdled at the scene of the crime. She even had her picture taken. No true criminal would act this way. It's inconceivable. Yar. Well then, it seems we have come to the end of this testimony. The witness has a grudge against the defendant and a blank in her testimony. Mr. Edgeworth, is the next witness ready to go? Unfortunately, I better overestimated this witness on account of her professional history. We did it. We screwed that can shut, Mr. Wright. That was too close. Joo, ei se mennyt kun 3 kertaa uusiksi piti huijata vielä välissä. I'm afraid that Go-Up Queen has been dethroned. And with that, court is adjourned. Mr. Edgeworth, you ordered the squid witch, alright? That's the one she tried to foist off on me. I prefer not to take the defense team's leftovers. Anything else to say? I might be able to save you. I have decisive evidence. What was that? This is another one of her trick lunchboxes. My apologies, but we have no further questions to ask of you, Miss Starr. Ah. Is this your jumbo lunchbox? Ooh, a triple-decker. Out of difference to the witness's determination, I'll allow one more testimony. Let's hear about this decisive evidence. Like the Lunchland motto says, you won't be disappointed. What's she going to pull out of her lunchbox this time? Decisive evidence. I should have mentioned those 5 minutes when I wasn't looking at the crime scene. And now, to the matter of the victim's shoe, did I not bring this up? 2 types of blood were found on this shoe. One was of course the victim's, and the other blood type, that was the defendant, Miss Lana Sky. This shoe proves it. It's flawless, decisive evidence. What? There was blood found on that shoe. Try Lunchland for all your lunch and decisive evidence needs. Witness, what's the meaning of this? Why is this the first time I've heard of this evidence? Simple, as I've already said. I don't trust you with evidence, Mr. Edgeworth. That's why I took the liberty of investigating this myself. And you had blood tests performed. Didn't I mention? I have 3 boyfriends in forensics. In any case, Your Honor, I can't escape this. I can't accept this as evidence. What? You must know 2 rules of evidence law. Rule number 1. No evidence shall be shown without the approval of the police department. In other words, this shoe is illegal evidence, at least for the time being. Is that right, Mr. Wright? It seems so. Edgeworth, sir, is celebrating. Not so fast, Mr. Edgeworth. Don't forget, I used to be a detective. As I mentioned previously, this shoe has already been tested by a member of the forensics department. As you can see, it was approved by the police department as of today. Even the general public can produce official evidence, Mr. Edgeworth. Is that right, Mr. Wright? Seems so. Edgeworth is looking pretty sullen. You could at least study some evidence law, really. The prosecution's complaints notwithstanding, it appears that this evidence satisfies the first rule of evidence law. However, it seems you have yet another count against your witness. Anything to ensure that the guilty are properly charged. White enamel shoe bears traces of blood from Goodman and Lansky. Very well, Mr. Wright, you may cross-examine the witness. I should have mentioned those 5 minutes when I wasn't looking at the crime scene. Why did you lie about those 5 minutes? I guess you could say I just wanted people to look at the results. The results? How many times do I have to say this? I saw the chief prosecutor stab the victim before my very own eyes. Compared to that, a 5-minute blank means nothing. Then why didn't you just tell the truth? Don't make me laugh. We are dealing with the most untrustworthy of the vile lot known as prosecutors. Falsified evidence, arranged testimonies, erasing and manipulating evidence. When you fight monsters, you need to use every trick in the book. This when the suspect is admitting she did it. But false testimony is the most despicable crime of all, Miss Starr. Let's just get this over with. Now to the matter of the victim's shoe. Did I not bring this up? And you found this shoe at the scene of the crime. I detained the chief prosecutor and notified the police department. I wanted to make myself useful while I was waiting for the police to arrive. So, like an ill-trained butch you snuck off with a shoe. I was afraid someone would erase the chief prosecutor's crime. The shoe was my secret weapon if that should happen. See this fashionable basket I have here. It carries more than lunchboxes, gentlemen. I'm happy for you and your lunchbox bag, really. In any case, you removed valuable evidence from the scene of the crime. Now tell us what you did next. 2 types of blood were found on this shoe. One was of course the victim's. So you brought it to the forensics department. If you are going to submit something as evidence in court, you need it approved. To do that, evidence must be analyzed by a forensics expert. And she got away with her little coup. Onks tuo kuu vai kuu? Taitaa olla kuu. Because she used to be a detective. The shoe does appear to have bloodstains on it. Well, the main man was stabbed after all. And that blood belonged to the victim, Detective Goodman. As I said, there were 2 types of blood found on the shoe. And the other blood type matched that of the defendant, Miss Lana Sky. Miksi sinä ois sen verta? You can say for sure the blood belonged to the defendant with blood test. You claim to know something about blood tests, rookie. Huh? Well, speak up. Well, blood comes in 4 types, A, B, O and AB. However, you can tell from blood test whether a murder was committed in cold blood. That's just a figure of speech, Mr. Wright. Actually, we can differentiate between millions of types with all the blood tests out there, which means that we can more or less narrow any sample of blood down to just one person. Also, I hear. That's pretty specific. If I had a little more time, I would have gotten DNA test results. But they said there's very little doubt it could be anyone's but Miss Lana Sky's. So the suspect's blood was found on the victim's shoe. That ties her directly to the death of Detective Goodman. I was afraid he was going to say that. This shoe proves it. It's flawless, decisive evidence. I can't let this evidence go through without a fight. You ordered the peppered fish guts, right? Some like it hot, Mr. Wright. Some, like your client, season enough of hot water to make a whole vat of soup. Mr. Wright, do you or don't you have a problem with this shoe? A problem? This is critical. Is there a problem with the victim's shoe? Totta kai sillä on. If I'm not imagining this, I'd say there is one critical problem with this evidence. A clear contradiction. That gleam in your eyes. You're still young, rookie. I'd give you a peppered fish gut now, but you couldn't take the heat, could you? Let's hear what Mr. Wright has to say. What is contradictory about the victim's shoe? Show us the problem with this evidence. Ei mun ole pitänyt tehdä. The problem with this evidence is here. Where? Take this finger and point it at your own head, Mr. Wright. Guess that wasn't it. Mr. Wright, let's be scientific about this. Examine the evidence. As I thought, a waste of time. Well, that was a nice break. Let's return to the testimony, shall we? Koitetaan vielä kerran. Ne väittää, että verta on roiskunut siihen, mutta miksi siellä pohjassa on sitten verta? Se on tietenkin voinut astua veden päälle, mutta en keksi muutakaan. I wonder if you noticed there's blood on the bottom of this shoe. Don't mess with me, rookie. Or it'll be your blood on the bottom of my shoe. Indeed, there is quite a bit of blood on the bottom of the shoe. It makes sense. The victim was stabbed with a knife. What could possibly be contradictory about blood on the bottom of this shoe? Noissa eri väriset on kengät. No en keksi muutakaan. Tänne tulee Tässä ei edelleenkään ole tarpeeksi verta. No, koitetaan tätä. The problem lies in the footprint. The footprint? Note that the bottom of the victim's shoe is covered in blood. Then, isn't it strange? Why weren't any bloody footprints found by the scene of the crime? Aha! As you can see, there were no traces of any such footprints at the scene of the crime. That contradicts your claim about this shoe. This picture only shows part of the floor, so there could have been bloody footprints. Then where are they? We say Shveth, because we checked the scene and found nothing of the sort. Order. Well, witness. What? Huh? Great going, Mr. Wright, but it's true that the lack of footprints is a contradiction. But then we have to ask why there wasn't a footprint. Oh, that's true. There has to be a reason why there wasn't a footprint. Think, Mr. Wright. Hey, I don't know why it's not there. I'm just good at finding contradictions. What? I see. Now I get it. Get what? Our witness is more devious than I gave her credit for. We were hoodwinked to the very end. But she slipped. There is one vital hint to the truth in her testimony. What are you talking about? Think back to when she told us about apprehending the suspect. The chief prosecutor tried to resist, but the efforts were in vain. She knocked my hand aside, kicked over her oil drum. Oh, she's beautiful, but deadly. A predator, this one. A leopard woman. Roar. I thought that was a strange thing for the normally cool-headed chief to do. No kidding. Now, witness, allow me to ask you a very simple question. This oil drum, was it empty? Oh, that's I'm sorry, I like your attitude, Mr. Edgeworth. But apparently, you're not the slowest conveyor belt in the lunchbox factory. Witness, well, was the oil drum empty? The oil drum kicked over by the chief prosecutor was brimming with water. Water? What does that mean? Still don't get it, Mr. Wright. You want to know the reason she knocked it over? The real reason? Aha, you don't mean... Yes, the suspect knocked over that oil drum for one reason and one reason alone. To erase bloodstains that would become evidence against her. Why? It ties things up quite nicely. The bloodstains left on the victim's shoe tie her quite clear to this murder. Then, after the deed was done, she knocked over the oil drum to erase the telltale signs. Why, that's a prosecutor's specialty, erasing evidence. That reminds me, this guy's right hand was hurt. Didn't she say she cut herself when she stabbed him? Oh, that would explain. So that's when my sister's blood got on the shoe. Well, I see no reason to prolong this trial. But Mr. Wright, do something, please. What? What can I do? Your sister has confessed to the crime and she tried to conceal it. But enough. There is no need for further debate. The verdict, Your Honor. Very well. But Angel Starr is on the prosecution's side. She could have been lying about the water. This court finds the defendant, Miss Lana Sky. Little girl, what did you just say? Me? Did you say that I, Angel Starr, was on the prosecution's side? Well, yeah, you are. You're saying my sister hid evidence by erasing bloody footprints. Well, I thought you'd had your fill, but here you are, demanding a second helping. Another lunchbox, a lunchbox called evidence. Wait, please don't tell me you have something else. The time for deliberations is past. Any further comments and you will be held in contempt of court. Your threats don't scare the Gopher Queen. Look at this. A photograph. I had it just in case anyone had the gall to justice. The white shoe didn't belong to the victim. I see no room for error in this evidence. Mr. Wright, wait. Look at the asphalt in this photo. Hey, it's clearly wet. Erasing the last trace of doubt from the court's mind. Immediately after the murder, the crime scene was washed with water. I'm sorry, Mr. Wright. I guess I couldn't help after all. It's not your fault. I knew I couldn't win this case from the beginning. And it seems this is what your sister wanted anyway. I'm sorry, Mia. Right, wait or not. Don't be quick to throw in the towel. Get yourself up off the asphalt. Take another good look. Don't give up. Not until the bitter end. This is the last piece of evidence. Very well. This time I'd like to declare a verdict for good. Your Honor, wait. What is it with you people? Can't I hand down my verdicts in peace anymore? Whatever it is, can it wait? No, it can't. Then it will be too late. Look at this photograph, the last one submitted. This trial isn't over until we give each piece of evidence proper consideration. So, right. Are you saying there's a problem with this latest piece of evidence? Yeah, I think later. Yeah, there's a problem. Right or wrong, I've got to go ahead with this. I suppose since we have come this far, we should give every claim a fair shake. Very well, Mr. Wright. Show the court the problem in this photograph. Miksi sulta puuttuu? Eikö niin se on sun kenkä? Niin, sen takia se on eri värinen. Mulla on niin. Aivan. Se on eri tavalla siinä, sehän näyttää, se roikkuu siitä. No, onneksi mulla on tuon mahdollisuuksia pistää tää väärin. Ihan ensimmäisenä mulle tulisi niinku... ensimmäisenä mulle tuli mieleen tämä... Miksi sillä ei ole sitä kenkää jalassa. Mut niinku semmonen niinku... Mikä pistää silmään on toi puukko sen rinnassa. Mut mikä pointti sillä olisi. Sitten tuli mieleen, että se oli eri tavalla tässä. Miten mä sen näytän? Klikkaamalla sen ruumissa. Vähän liian suuri alue. En usko, että näin sen tossee, mut... No ei, koitetaan. Siinä on eri tavalla siinä kuin mitä se teippi oli. Well, it's probably here, don't... Ei. Ask your elder, Mr. Wright. Let me give you a piece of advice. When you point something, at least remember to keep your eyes open. I believe he's trying to say that no one's falling for your bluffs, Mr. Wright. Open your eyes, Mr. Wright. I think scientifically. Suppose since we have come this far, we should give every claim a fair shake. Okei, en sano. Ei tullu. Penaltia siitä. Omin tonne rekkari. Ihan kuin AI olisi tehnyt tänne. Se näyttää kerroksen, mutta ei varsinaisesti kyllä oikeastaan on näytä. Onko se joku 96V9? No, tää pistää silmään. Mitä tuolla pakoputkessa on? The problem in this photograph is here. What's this? There's something poking out of the car's muffler. Just wait a moment, Mr. Edgeworth. Joanna. You just said muffler. However, I see no trace of a muffler or scarf of any kind in this photograph. A muffler is also a part of a car or motorcycle, Your Honor. Just think of it as part of the exhaust system or pipe. I see, and I see. What's that suspicious looking cloth sticking out of the car's muffler? So what if there is something sticking out of the muffler? What does that have to do with this case? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. Objection! Sorry, Miss Storm, but it's not going to be that easy. In fact, you have already told us why this is so important to the case. You said as much in your testimony. But what? Let's hear what Mr. Wright has in his mind. Tell us why you think this piece of cloth in the muffler is related to this case. No ei tule kyllä mitään muuta mieleen kuin tämä kuva. En tiedä miksi, mutta... Well, Joanna, how do you feel about that? Actually, I don't feel well at all. I have this pounding headache. No, I meant, what do you think about the... I'm afraid the reason for the headache is you, Mr. Wright. The cloth was found in the car's muffler, right? Muffler. Where have I heard this word before recently? Muffler. Let's hear what Mr. Wright has in mind. No ei löytynyt sen siihen huiviin. Mä mekään tupakilla. Vitsi, tää on pitkä video. Mä tässä mietin. Jos siinä pakoputkessa olisi jotain, se auto ei toimisi kunnolla. Edgeworth ajoi sillä autolla kuitenkin. Se on tungettu sinne jostain siis tässä välissä. Miksi ne olisi tungettu jotain? En tiedä. Koitetaan tätä. Nyp. Sen kravaatti. Nyt menee hakuammunnaksi. Tää menee uusiksi. Vai hemmetti. Kävi äsken mielessä tämä, että onko se tämä näin, mutta tää on löytynyt sen peräkontista. Joo, mä käyn katsomassa mikä hitto tää on ratkaisu. Jatketaan siitä sitten, kun ollaan taas tässä oikealla vastauksella. Siinäkin vartti meni tuohon. En tiedä, 20 minuuttia. Lähemmäs puoli tuntia. Klikkailla näin, no okei, ehkä nyt niin. 20 minuuttia nyt meni ainakin. Klikkailla nää kaikki läpi. Ja tää on ilmeisesti siis viimeinen asia, mitä mun pitää tehdä tässä loppuun lukemista. Mun pitää näyttää tämä puhelin. En tiedä miksi, mutta... The word muffler was overheard, mutta... Mistä? Recall your testimony for the court. Ah yes, when I arrested her, she mentioned the muffler. That's what had me confused in my earlier testimony. Muffler. Ah, yeah. Could it be that muffler you heard mentioned was actually this exhaust pipe? If so, that means this piece of cloth is vital evidence. Oh, well, it seems we will have to suspend these proceedings. Suspend? I found myself wondering about that piece of cloth. If we leave any question unanswered, here we do a disservice to the law. Have the car at the crime scene inspected at once and bring me that cloth. The verdict will wait until after we have seen all the evidence. Agreed? I suppose so. Phew, that was close. Se oli noin niin kuin, mitä 3 vai 4 kertaa yli sen lähellä olemisen. But we made it. At least for now. Vitsi, oli kyllä vaikea. tämmöisessä pitäisi niinku oikeesti niinku keksiä ilman ohjeita. No se ensimmäinen kyllä nyt oli sinänsä mummokaa, kun mä ajattelin, että mä yritän mennä nopeasti eteenpäin ja skippailen turhat tommoset pressaukset. Sitten siinä välissä oli se... Sinänsä oli vaan, kun mulla loppu heltti kesken. Tää viimeinen kyllä oli niin randomi, että... Olisi pitänyt lukea vaan kaikki noin evidenssit läpi ja sitten yhdistää se siihen muffleriin. But we made it. At least for now. This court will adjourn for a 30-minute recess. It's lunchtime after all. He's still hungry. To be continued. Oliko tää nyt pisin tämmönen? Kyllä mä nyt mun sekoilujakin taas ollut varmaan pisin. Tunti 41 minuuttia. Mä pidän nyt kyllä pienen tauon. En tiedä, pelaanko mä jotain muuta tässä välissä tai... Video pitäisi laittaa YouTubeen ainakin. Siis kun laittaa toi episode 1 nyt ensin. Ja pistetään silleen, että vaikka niinku joka toinen päivä Phoenix Wright ja joka toinen päivä Half-Lifea. Half-Lifeissa nyt ei kyllä edes monta videoa tehty, mutta joo, näin mä teen. En mä pidä taukoa, mä vaan uppaan ne videot YouTubeen tai pistän uppauksen. Kiitos sen pidemmittä puheitta. Kiitos kun katsoitte ja anteeksi näin pitkästä videosta ja jatketaan seuraavassa videossa.